Welcome to everybody to our Lunch and Learn today. I am Jennifer Scott, the Director of Development here at the Cabbage Patch, and I'll be the host of today's session. Corey is out of town today, so he won't be able to join us, and I get his responsibilities. And today we're going to learn more about our Scholars Program, and Brandi Giles is our Manager of the Educational Opportunities Program.
All right. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, my name is Brandi Giles and I'm the Educational Opportunities Manager here at the Cabbage Patch. I've been in this position for about 3 years and I've been with the Cabbage Patch for almost 7 years. And so the Cabbage Patch Scholar Program is a program that I oversee here. And I consider it one of the ways that we build pathways to success for our Cabbage Patch kids. So what is the College Scholar Program? The Cabbage Patch Scholar Program is a preparation, scholarship, and mentorship program that seeks to support our participants' financial, emotional, and personal success, as well as their academic success. So we do this in several of the following ways. One is we remove barriers. So some of the barriers that students might experience when they graduate from high school and they're ready to go to colleges, the college process can be very mystifying to a lot of our kids. They don't know where to start. So we prepare our kids by doing years-long, in-depth college prep here at the Cabbage Patch that starts as early as middle school. We have here a program called Teen Leadership, and a large portion of that weekly program is devoted to college prep activities as well as career prep. And we also have a college counseling program here that is specifically for 16, 17-year-olds who need to know exactly what they should be doing to prepare for college in the next few years. So we demystify the college process. We also provide a scholarship to each participant to alleviate some tuition concerns. And we provide additional financial support during hard times. And we also provide personalized support and guidance to each of our scholars. And that part is really key. Because we are an after-school center, we are able to see kids grow up. They start very young here at 8, and in many cases, they stay with us all the way until 18. So we're able to develop a personal relationship with each scholar, and therefore, if things go wrong or if they have questions, they're more likely to turn to us, and we can always be their backup. We provide resources to every scholar. We help navigate the financial aid process and alleviate administrative concerns as they arise. We act as a student advocate for our kids at a university level when they need help. And just an example for what that means. So one of our scholars who's on the call, she came down with COVID sometime during the school year. And at her school, they were moving everybody with COVID to a specific dorm. But they weren't giving them any transportation to get to that dorm. And so someone told that student to ride the bus, even though they had COVID. And so she reached out to us. We were able to get the dean of students involved because it wasn't really being resolved on a lower level than that. And they were able to have a few more days to prepare to move to that dorm, and they were able to provide transportation. So that's just an example of how we advocate for our students. We also provide class scheduling, time management, and career counseling. We provide transportation. If a student's family isn't able to take them back and forth to college, that's something that we've done on several occasions for anybody who needs it. And we also provide employment and internship opportunities as they arrive. We have a program here called the Teen Employment Program. And we started this a few years ago because we saw that our 14, 15, 16-year-olds were becoming less active because they needed to get jobs, in some cases just for themselves, but also to support family in some cases. So we decided to pay them an hourly wage here. A select group of kids are able to be employed here during the summer and the school year, and that helps them basically learn career readiness skills, and also keeps them involved so that they're on track for college. And finally, of course, we offer academic support. Education is still the priority, especially for me as education manager. So even if our students are in college, we're able to provide one-on-one remote homework help. And if a student is in town, if they go to JCTC or U of L, they're able to still come here and be in our education room, which is where I am now, and get help from some of our education specialists. We also have access to Cabbage Patch materials or resources for projects, posters, or any other school supplies they might need. And if scholars fall below a 2.0, we have them complete an academic intervention plan. They counsel with me, and we figure out how to steer things in the right direction next time. So that is what our College Scholar program is. Here is the Scholar program by the numbers. So our College Scholar stats. We currently have 37 enrolled scholars. So that's a combination of everyone that's been in college, as well as some of the kids who are going to graduate school. And then we have some entering into college now. So we have a pretty good group here at 37. We have 30 who are full-time, 3 part-time pursuing associate's degrees, and 4 now who are going to be in graduate school. We offer a $3,000 a year scholarship. So that's $1,500 each semester to every scholar, except those who go to Berea. They are already given a full ride for going to Berea, so we actually give them an adjusted scholarship of $750. Our average GPA for our scholars is 2.75. And here are some graduation stats. So we just had 7 college graduations, which is, I think, our biggest group yet. So most of them were virtual, actually all of them were virtual. So it was a little disappointing that we couldn't be there to support our scholars, but I did attend every virtual graduation, and it is a little bit easier to get pictures when you can just rewind and capture them on your phone. So that's one benefit, I guess. And then we did have 6 high school graduations, which is a little bit lower for us. The pandemic, we're still regrouping and getting more of our teams back, but it was great to at least be able to attend 1 high school graduation. And I can only go to 1 because all of them were at the same time on the same day. So I just had to tune in virtually for others later. So we currently have 14 schools that our college scholars attend. They include UK, U of L, NKU, WKU, Wake Forest, EKU, UNC Charlotte, JCTC, WashU, Fisk University, Berea, Clark Atlanta University, Black Hill State, and it says San Bernardino Valley College here. It's just too long to put on there. UK is by far the school that most students go to, and that's because we have a partnership with them, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. This is definitely the most schools that we've ever had involved in the program. So as it expands, we're likely to see even more. So it's very exciting for our students to have more and more scholars to get advice from for different schools, both in-state and out-of-state. So here are a few more elements of the program. So we consider ourselves to be a one-stop college shop. So we want to be able to provide anything surrounding college that our scholars might need, both before they graduate and after. And I've mentioned a few of these before, but we help with the college admissions process. So application fees, we take care of that. When the FAFSA comes around, that's a really complicated application, and a lot of our kids need help with it. So October 1st, when it opens, our computer lab is basically just like, devoted to high school seniors and other college students who need help completing the FAFSA. We have regular communication with our scholars, contact them as often as I need for both grades and schedules, and then just to check in and see how they're doing. We offer homework help. We help solve administrative disputes or financial aid concerns. We offer additional financial assistance during hard times. We help them move in and out of college if they need it. We give them access to employment and internship opportunities, both with us and then with people who we partner with. And then finally, we have an open door policy just at the Cabbage Patch in general, but especially with the College Scholar Program. And by that, I mean, so if a student starts school and then for one reason or another, they drop out, if they decide to come back years later, they are absolutely welcome back. They just have to sit with me for a counseling session so we can reestablish goals, and then they're given the same scholarship that they did before. So they realize that basically whenever they're ready to pursue their education, we're going to be there willing to include them back into the program. So during the pandemic, from about March until June of 2020, our doors were closed here to our kids. It was really a strange time for us and of course everybody in the world, but we were still able to reach out to our families and we were still able to help our scholars. So some of the ways that we did that was we traveled to scholars and provided them basically care packages of food, cleaning supplies, and other necessities. Here on the right, that's me and Michi, or Demetrius. And, he was out of the job at that time because of the pandemic and he needed a few things. So we were able to go and bring them to him. In the same set of down here on the bottom right, that's Miracle on the left. And that's our education specialist, Rachel. Her and I were basically able to make several trips during that shutdown time to different scholars who needed things from us. We continued helping with homework, of course, and because it got a lot harder when everything moved online, it was harder for kids to stay motivated. So we tried to just rally and get everybody, make sure that everybody was staying on top of their work. In some cases, we had to move students out because a lot of colleges were asking their students to leave so that they could regroup. But that definitely took a lot of our kids by surprise. So up here in the left-hand corner, that's Sharonda. Berea said that it's time to move out, and she only had a very short amount of time to do it. So I went up there and we put all of her stuff in storage, and I was able to bring her home. And then also for our teens, ACT Prep, which is a program that we do here as well on a regular basis, that was able to continue for a few of our kids during the pandemic. Down here on the bottom left is Ladarius. He's one of our rising freshmen, and he and I did ACT Prep during the pandemic shutdown on Thursdays. And then we were able to increase our efforts to connect with our students to make sure that they were mentally and physically okay. So current school partnerships. So partnerships are really important for our program. The more schools that know about us and who are able to connect with, the better we can serve our scholars. So, and serving our scholars can mean many different things. It could be an additional financial award to help alleviate tuition, room and board concerns, or it can just be knowledge of us in giving us access to key people so that we can resolve problems very quickly for our scholars when they arise. So some of those those partnerships include UK. So UK is definitely our oldest school partnership with the Scholar Program. We've had a program with them since 2011, where they're able to offer not only access to key people, but also an additional financial award on top of scholarships and FAFSA. They offer an additional financial award to our students exclusively. This has been a really successful program for us, where we have the most kids that go to UK and the most graduates as of this past 2020. So it's been very good for us to be in partnership with UK. Currently, we have a partnership with JCTC that's just kind of starting, and really it gives us just access to key people, head of admissions, deans, and if problems arise for our students, we're able to resolve them very quickly. And also, we're starting to form a partnership with JCTC in our teen leadership program, where they're able to provide career training for teens as young as 12. Just last week, we had our teen leadership camp, which I and another partner conducted, and we brought those 12, 13-year-old kids to JCTC, and they learned automotive repair skills, and they learned how to repair drywall. And the drywall, they were all kind of like, I don't know what to do here. But all they had to do was make a hole in the wall, and they just had to fix that hole. And by the end of it, one of the 12-year-old girls, she was like, well, great. Now I can charge my family $20 to repair cracks in our walls. So she's really excited to be able to learn that skill. And now we're going to be able to do that on a regular basis with our kids. So U of L, sorry, that's a lot of words, but basically they currently have a scholarship there called the Carl F. Pollard Scholarship, and it is awarded to 2 students every year. It provides $7,000 a semester, and in the fall of 2020, that scholarship was amended to give Cabbage Patch Scholars first consideration when receiving the award. So now any student who applies to U of L has the opportunity to also get an additional $70,000 a semester. And we've also been in talks with U of L to provide direct admissions help and access to key people for our kids, testing services that will make it easier for our kids to improve scores here. And also we are in talks with providing a last dollar scholarship to our scholars here there at U of L. So we're really excited to see how that develops. And Bellarmine, we're excited about all of the scholarship possibilities, of course. So Bellarmine University offers 2 Cabbage Patch Scholars every year, an inclusive scholarship that will cover all expenses all the way up to $4,500 a year. So if it costs about $50,000 to go to Bellarmine, they'll basically pay like $45,000 of it. So it's really important and special for our kids. And it began in about 2019, and we just finalized it this year. So we're really excited to have kids take advantage of this opportunity here in the future. So what are our goals of the College Scholar Program? So our goals include to successfully graduate current scholars within 5 years of their college entrance date. Part of what we want to do here is make sure that kids are out of college with as less debt as possible. And since most scholarships only last within 4 to 5 years, we want to make sure that people are graduating within that time so they don't have to accrue more debt. We would like to have 50 college scholars by 2025. We would like to increase the number of freshmen entering the program from around 8 to 12 to 10 to 15. So we have more people entering the College Scholar Program. We'd like to increase the average GPA of current scholars to 3.0. And we want to create a college and career readiness center. That's one of our major key focuses of our capital campaign that we're currently doing. And within 5 years, we are going to have a college and career readiness center for our kids to have access to college skill training, and people can place them into careers that are meaningful for them. So we're excited to formalize that within the next 5 years. And finally, we'd like to increase the number of partnerships with schools and organizations, because the more partnerships we have, the more our kids are taken care of when they're at school. And here are some ways that you can help. Obviously, financial contributions ensure that we can help more and more kids every year. As the Scholar Program grows, we're going to have more kids entering it, so we're going to have to increase our budget for scholarships. We never want to have to tell a kid that our money has run out, so we want to make sure that we have enough for everyone, so financial contributions can help ensure that. collecting dorm room items and school supplies and donating them to us is also really helpful. Every year at the end of summer, our scholars all come here and they're able to get information from us about how the new school year is going to be. And also they can go into a little shop of donated dorm items and they can just kind of grab what they need. So that's always really helpful. If you have a career field that other scholars are in, then becoming a mentor for one of our scholars can be really useful for them so they can plan their career and also know the ins and outs of that field. Sharing job opportunities with current and graduating scholars so they can be placed in careers that they want to be in. You can host college scholar parties. Right here is a picture of a group of our scholars at Bill Meyer's house. He's our former board president, and they had a great time there, and hosting parties is something else you can do. And if you have connections with colleges or organizations that can help us expand our program, that would be extremely helpful as well. So finally, our college scholars that we have today, we have Janae Cofield, who just recently graduated from NKU. She has been a part of the Cabbage Patch since she was 6 years old, and next year, or I guess this fall, she'll be going to UNC Charlotte to pursue a communications master's degree. So Janae, you can answer any 3 questions you like if you can just unmute yourself.
I'll go ahead and get started with the first question, which is, how has the Cabbage Patch helped you on your college journey? I would say it's helped extremely a lot. And I would say that just because, for one, it's helped me even back in high school, just applying to different applications, applying to NKU, U of L, UK, so many different schools, and making me look at different scholarship opportunities. I actually did the college tour camp when I was in the 8th grade, all the way up into my senior year. And so I was able to get a pretty much large view of what college and what the experience of college would look like. And then another thing is, specifically Miss Brandi helped me with getting into the Governor's Scholars Program my junior year, which also helped me get scholarships, of course, for when I went to college. Another thing the Patch has also offered to me is just a lot of financial support, most definitely. Me and my mother did fall on hard times. My mother is a government employee, so when the government shutdown happened a few years back, I was in my sophomore year, I believe, and we were kind of short on some of the funds, and the Cabbage Patch came in and helped me go throughout my sophomore year. So I was really appreciative of that. And they've also helped with my social life as well. Ms. Brandi actually gave me a letter of recommendation into the sorority that I'm in now, and she knows how much I love the sorority. So they pretty much have helped me throughout all aspects of my life, both academic. They'll be up till like midnight helping us with homework. They've helped us socially, as I mentioned, just joining different organizations, and then of course financially, which has helped me go along and graduate. So yeah. I guess the next question I'll answer is, how are you planning on giving back to the next generation of scholars? So every single year since I've came back to the Patch every single year, except for last year, of course, because of COVID. And I like to volunteer with the kids as well during the school year. So this year during COVID, I was able to do the video calls, and I got to tutor a lot of kids over the phone. And then also being able to come back during the summer and talking to some of the teen employees and talking to them about college and telling them my experience, just to give them a heads up of what they're gonna run into potentially when they go into school. And I feel like mentorship is a huge thing for anybody. I have a personal motto where I feel like a leader just takes somebody from point A to point B, whereas somebody who wants to be a great leader takes them from point A to point B, but also gives them the skills and tools so they can also accomplish what you did. Because I feel like it's unfair to lead somebody and not give them the tools to be successful as well on their own. So I feel like that's what I plan to do. Even while going to a whole nother state, I want to give those tools to the next generation of scholars coming through at the Patch. I guess the last thing I'll answer would be, how has COVID affected your life in college, in and out of college? I would have to say, so I'm naturally an introvert. So at first I was kind of like, I could stay in my room all day. But I slowly realized how much that can hurt your mental and social health and emotional health and well-being. And so I feel like I had to learn a lot about myself, and I've had to learn how to be more active and engaged with other people. Um, and I feel like, and of course, as she mentioned, I ended up having COVID. It was actually during Thanksgiving, which was very, very disappointing because I lost my smell and taste. Um, so, but I feel like I grew out of that situation just because I did have the patch to help me when I did have COVID. Miss Brandi was the first person calling my school, like, you got to help her. So even though it was challenging, I feel like I became a stronger person out of COVID. And I've learned a lot about myself by having that time to myself as well. I feel like COVID taught me how to say no. Before the pandemic, I had 3 jobs. I was involved in 4 different organizations. I was an RA. I was doing so much. And then COVID was like, pause. And I had to reevaluate myself and everything. So there's, of course, the bad, but I feel like you also got to look on the optimist side of things. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Shanae. If anyone has any questions, we might have maybe a minute or two.
Hey, Janae, it's Chip. Whoop, Chris raised his hand first.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, you said you were gonna, by the way, great presentation. So you said you want to help the kids, which you're doing. Can you compare the kids? Is there any difference between the kids you were surrounded by when you were their age at the Patch and what you see today? Did you see different needs, new needs?
I feel like I see similar needs. I will say, due to COVID, maybe there should be more of like a social aspect, just because they haven't been able to get that for the past couple of years. Like, a lot of the students have been able to graduate during the pandemic. And so maybe possibly just the more social and emotional aspect might be what they're missing out on. But other than that, I feel like the same needs are there, except for that, except for that portion of their well-being.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I think I missed where you are now. So what are you, last year or just graduating?
Yes, so I graduated from Northern Kentucky University in May. I graduated magna cum laude, so I was able to get out of there with honors. And then I will be going to the University of North Carolina at Charlotte in the fall. So I'll be moving there in August, and I'll be studying communications with a focus on cultural studies.
Okay, I thought I did hear that you were going into UNCC. And so my sister finished up there and she is now living there. My dad and brother are all there. If you need anybody, support system, people to talk to, I'd love to introduce you. I know they'd love to meet you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. I'll send the contact information.
Brandi, I think we have a well-informed group today, so they may not have quite as many questions.
All right, well, that's all right with me. Thank you guys so much for joining us today and hearing about the Scholar Program.
I have a couple, actually.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Margaret.
This is maybe at the top of the house, or just when you're running people through, introducing them to the whole concept of college starting in middle school. And this talk today was specifically going towards college. How do you direct when somebody is at a fork in the road and they are not going to be college focused or college ready, or that college is not for them, but maybe something else, whether it's VOTEC or whatever, whatever the other fork in the road is. How do you navigate that fork, and what are the other options?
So that's a great question, Margaret. Thank you. So that's why I love that we've kind of gained more of a connection with JCTC. JCTC has already been a school that many of our scholars go to, but it hasn't been one where we've known all the options they have, which is quite a bit. They have a lot of vocational degrees that really will be attractive to someone. And we have scholars like this, many who maybe don't want to go the traditional 4-year bachelor's degree route, and that's okay. The most important thing is to validate their choices and to say, whatever you want to do, that's fine. We just want to help navigate you towards success, and what success looks like, we don't have a label for, and it's not just one thing, it's many different things. But JCTC does have a lot of great vocational degrees, and being in partners with them, where we know about them and we're able to counsel if that's what a student says that they want to do. So if a student says they don't want to go to school, that's when we think about, different options for them. So it's all about what they need and what they're interested in.
Thank you. My last question has to do with the whole SAT, ACT topic. And some schools have started not requiring those. What are you all hearing at the top of the house? What are you hearing from from academia as to what's the future of standardized testing?
So it's true, a lot of schools are going test optional. I think Bellarmine is doing that for the application. So to get into Bellarmine, you don't necessarily have to have an ACT. You don't have to take it. However, and for most schools, what we're hearing is that for scholarships, they're still looking at ACT scores. And it makes sense in a way. For schools, it's really hard to know who should be awarded scholarships without having, besides just GPA, ACT score is just an easier way for them to quickly decide, who is up to snuff, I guess. So because a lot of schools are still giving scholarships based on ACT, we're still going to do ACT prep the same way until they are not requiring it for that either.
Brenda, Brad Hume, I just have one quick question. I'm interested in the mentoring aspect of things. As the students who are in the program, as they're coming up through high school, and they're still here locally, in particular, are they assigned particular mentors to see them through on a year by year basis? In other words, is there some continuity to a mentorship program?
There hasn't been one yet. It's just been something that we've done when people have reached out to us, or how it's been for teens anyway, for people younger than college age students. A student will tell us that they're interested in nursing, or they're interested in being an architect. And so we'll say, well, let's see if we can't find a shadowing program for you, or let's see if Jennifer doesn't know somebody who is in that career, and then you can connect. So we have been doing that on a regular basis, but it hasn't been something that's been formalized where we pair students up at age 13, and then those two people are together throughout their high school years. So it is something that I would like to have more formalized here. That would be really convenient for our kids as well. It just hasn't been something that we've done, but definitely something we're interested in.
Okay, thank you, Brenda.
No problem.
All right. Well, thank you all for your time. We want to respect our 30 minutes, and be sure to join us next month on July 23rd. We'll be talking about our STEM program, and that's kind of a budding program that we have, and I think it'll be a fun thing to dive a little deeper and learn a little more. So see you then. Bye.